All right, I'm in the monster tournament. Just barely made it in my practice account. I shot a 13. I didn't pick up anything else. Part of it's ball inventory, and part of it's just didn't get it done. Close. All right, hole number one. Hole number one. Let me just glance. All right, I know exactly what I'm going to do. Hole number one. We've got to get an eagle on hole number one. I'm going to do minus 5%. Here we go. Come on. Want to get a hole in one. Hole in one on a par four. You don't get those very often, so there are some of these holes when we get them in tournament play where we can really go for it. It's worth spending whatever ball. Some of them you definitely cannot get it done with a power 3, but with a power 4 or power 5, you might have a serious look at it. All right, let's see what my opponent's doing with this wind. And with an extra mile 7, you probably only have your rock. That is the club that you'll have to take that shot with, and you can see you're barely one ring. So you have no room for, on the right hand side you have 0. On the left, if you hit a one ring great to the left, you'll hit the second cut of the rough. Let's be real quiet for my opponent. And they hit a one ring great to the left, and let's see if they can get out of the second cut. Ooh, they just hit on the transition. Close. Very close. All right, 0.95 times whatever the wind is, divided by 1. 3.9, 3.7 rings. If I can get the ball to go where I want it to go. .7 rings. Geez, that took forever. There's 3.5. There's 3.7. Hitting it perfect. Get in the hole. Hit the rough nice. A little too fast. Just a bit outside. Over pulled it even with the even taking wind out. I took 5% out. And I was trying to aim towards the bottom edge of the cup. I was trying to get it where it was in between the flagpole and the outside edge on the left, like centered right there. Because it seems like I've been coming in on the right. Just a bit off. And that's the second time, though, that I've noticed that I actually should have took out a little. I still overpulled it. So I'm going to raise that -5 to -10. All right. Hole number 1 in the bag. Hole number 2. Must be a par 3. And we got a serious, this is a draft hole. We got a serious look at hole 1 here. Now I've left it short twice. And I'm still trying to figure out what ball. Let's see which way the wind's blowing. Because I think I was trying to push the issue and trying to take the shot with my Grizzly. And in order to take it with my Grizzly, I had to bring out a 3-power ball. But if I had any headwind at all, I would have had to have dropped down to a 0-power ball and taken it with my sniper at minimum club. So I'm trying to figure out whether I should, because it seemed like the Guardian, or the excuse me, the Grizzly barely has enough topspin to get you there, and I've been short twice. So I think I'm going to play minimum sniper with a 10% wind adjustment. 1.1 times whatever the wind is, divided by 1.3. And let me make some notes here. So sniper, it's 1.3 per ring. And in order to get that done, I'm going to need to bring, I'm going to try a nav and see if that's a low enough power ball. I want to be able to work out, in this situation, work out tailwind. Let's see if I'm low enough there. We'll try this out. I've been taking the shot with the Grizzly all week, but I'm not going to get, I don't want to have to do any overpower. I mean, that's like adding curl to a shot. That's not repeatable unless it's max overpower. The best. Thanks for joining the channel. Finally. The best goes first. Let's check out their shot. So it's 3.4. In this situation, it'd be 3.4, so it'd be 3.74 wind. Divided by 1.3. So it'd be like 2.9 rings. And they're using their Saturn and a bigger power ball, but they're doing the bounce over. You've got a great shot on the bounce over. I think even if you go at it with your Guardian, you have less of a chance with the Guardian, but you have a 100% chance of getting birdie. You do have a look at it, but it's not as good as that look on a consistent basis. But the rough bump here is superior. Right, here's my red line. Yeah, there's just no way. So I bring a 0 power ball, but I got nowhere to work for the red line here. And I have no more topspin than that. So I have to get close. So if I have any headwind here, I won't be able to work it out. 2.7. 2.7. It's 2.97 rings. There's 3. There's 3. Hitting it perfect. I just snapped it off. I didn't know how much time left I had, but I knew I didn't have much. Let's see if I left it short again. And I still left it short. I was off that time, but that might have just been in the dinking around with the wind adjustment there. For some reason I was thinking 3.97. I went to move it for that, and then I was like, no, it's only 2.97. But I'm still short, so that Grizzly is not getting it done. And the sniper shot's going to have to be with a 0 power ball. So, I mean, it'll have to be with a Marlin. I'm going to have to look at my options on that hole to see what other than, I mean, I could bring a Saturn. It's got a little bit less ball guide, but on a rough bump like that, it might not be as big a deal. I think I am going to set up a bag with a Saturn. Let's set that bag up right now so that I have it in the future. I haven't used my Guardian yet. Let's make sure we put it, there is a bag. I do have a bag with a Saturn. Now Saturn I may have to use, I'm going to have to do something different on that hole because I keep leaving myself short. The off trajectory right there, I'm not as concerned about because I really do think I screwed the wind adjustment up that bad. But I'm definitely going to need, and I can't stand a backbone. And it doesn't have enough topspin anyways. And a Goliath, and I suppose you could use a Goliath. It's got 3.9, so it's got the same kind of ball guide as a Saturn. No matter where you're at in the deal out there, you're going to be able to get it with a bunch of different balls. And I don't mind that accuracy at all. 1.9 is, because I've played so much with my Saturn. Now, it might not be a bad choice for this, even though I'm not a big Goliath fan, but just bringing it out for that one particular shot. I'm going to put a Goliath in a bag. I'll try it out. All right, let's go check out the next hole. Enough of that diddly-dallying around. Hole number 3. First of the par 5s. All right. Let's see which way the wind's blowing. If the wind's blowing the right direction, I'm going to pull out a par 5 ball. And the wind is kind of going in the right direction. So I'm going to pull out a par 5 ball because I want to practice this shot, because this is definitely the shot that I'm going to be taking in my main account if the wind is blowing in any kind of positive direction. And this right here is not, I think it is a little bit forward. And I'm going to take an Apocalypse. That bag right there will work. Here we go. Hole number 3. Now I've made it over there once. The last time we played this in a tournament, or the time before that, I took this shot on hole number 18 at the end of the weekend round, and haven't really played it since then, or been willing to pull out a par 5 ball. And then this week I ended up in the rough. The one and only time I went over there. I tried to go against a headwind, and it wasn't a very big headwind. It was only like 2.6, but it acted like it was 4.5. It acted like it was at least 4. My opponent goes first. I have no idea what that name says. Now, I know that there is a way, if you've got big enough winds and the wind's going that way, where people are bouncing off of this island and getting over to here and actually going for the green. But I don't think we can do it from rookie. I tried it here a couple tournaments ago. It was the tournament that I was like taking a different look at this hole to see if there was other options. And it seemed like in rookie, you just couldn't quite make it. You were in the rough over there, though. You could make it to the other side. So maybe if you had a 5 power topspin boost. All right, it's right there. 3-1. That should be 2 rings. I'm going to take the power out, put the distance back in. Hit a 1 ring great to the left. Now, as long as I don't roll out to the other side. So I put max topspin on it there. What I could have done there is put on more curl to try and get me where I bled out. Not only is the entire fairway to the right, but it gets longer the farther forward you go. You still have a lot of fairway left. I'm not sure if you could do a max curl there. That might be too much. You'd take the big risk of your second bounce. You'd curl it so much that your second bounce would end up in the extending out and getting caught up in the rough. And I think I'm going to be a little short. Wow, I do have a rough mo shot. This is the shot that I'm looking for. And it looks like if I'm in my long iron here, I would be in long iron range. Because the Nirvana's got the same distance as a long iron. Okay, I'm at max club. I'm gonna do 2 rings. That's 4. Hit it one ring great to the left. But on that type of rough, and you look at how straight it ran up the hill. For those of you that have played this hole for a long time, that you're running straight up to the cup. That hill that hill is not in play. And it's a beautiful little T rough bump right there, and the rough is really the first cut of the rough is really deep right there too. All right. It would be nice to get out there. I've only taken that shot once, and I thought that I was in my sniper range, but I evidently was in my grizzly range. Nice. Gives me some hope. I'm gonna try doing max curl or most of curl in my 77 account and take that same shot and see, because where I came in and bled out and was out in this area, but just a little. The deal is if you put more curl on it so that you're trying to get out into this area and right along this, run parallel to it. The deal is the farther you go to the right, the farther forward your second bounce has to go in order to clear the rough. And so you can over curl it and actually end up getting caught in the rough out here. I could have set the shot up so that I was more down in here, but I didn't want my first bounce to be in that rough, in the second cut of the rough. It looked like if I hit the second cut of the rough that I was going to get caught up in the rough over here. And that's quite a bit of distance, because from here you can't go to the green. You don't have that shot. So from this area out here, you've got to come around and come this way. But if this right here is long iron range, this area out here is sweet. Very nice. And I still had a little bit of room on my red line. All right, next hole, hole number 4. Hole number 4. All right, this is all wind dependent. I got a power 3 ball, so we'll just have to see. The wind's going with us, so we got a little bit of help. And I haven't been able to get my topspin right. So I put on too little topspin. I put on too much topspin, and then I put on too little topspin. I was at like 4.5. That was too much. And then I put on like 2.5, and that was too little. So I'm gonna try like 3.5. I'm gonna split the difference. I'm gonna take a Titan, the king of balls. Now my curl was just a little. I put on a little too much curl the last time as well. So thinking of this right here is the center. Hey, hold on. This is my curl grid down here. And so this line right here is the center. I had it out to about here, and I probably only needed to be 1 ball out. So I'm not sure what the 2.5, my distance when I caught the arc over here on this curl, it put me I was in the sand. I may have made the rough, but it was close. I think I can't remember. It was a recovery shot that I didn't make. Dang it. If you overshoot this and you're on the backside and you have to come back to the cup, it's actually, the deal is it's all about hitting perfect. But that is one of those shots where you're not having to deal with the moguls. So even though you're in the rough and you're past the cup, the shot back to the cup is pretty straightforward. Thank you, Scott, for joining the channel. Here we go. I go first. All right. I'm going to do 3 and a titch. Three 8. I'm going to move it 4. So there's 3. There's 4. I'm going to put a little teeny bit of that forward distance back on. Okay, so there's center. I'm going to just do 1 ball of curl. Hit it 1 ring grate to the left. And while I am over on that side and I have a chip now, I put those moguls in play, the 1 ring grate to the left, and I didn't put quite enough curl on it. About 1 more curl line from where I was at. That topspin looked like it was much better. See if my opponent can get over there. This is going to be a tough pitch. I still have a ton of work to get done because this isn't the type of pitch that you can run topspin and run it up to the cup. Because of those moguls, the ball guide's going all over the place. So you got to bring it up there and do the hop, 1 backspin. I think they overshot that. Close, close. Nice shot. They put themselves in a good spot because they're almost past the moguls coming to the cup. Let's see how far I can move back where it still gives me. All right, gotta hit this perfect. Hitting it perfect, and it still might not go in. Close, in the hole, eagle, and he scores. Let's see if my opponent, and you can see what I'm talking about here. They've hit to the point where this little pocket right here is not that bad. The cup itself is sitting on a little hill. Let's see what they move that. Should be about 2 rings. Looks like it's about mid-club. Hitting it perfect. And when that left the tee, it looked like it was off. A little short. Good luck in the tournament. Winning a chest. Look at that. Getting out there and picking one up. All right, that hole right there, I'm just gonna have to play by ear. Some of these par 4s like that, you have to come in with a game plan on how you want to attack them, and then you've got to modify that based off of the current conditions and whatever ball inventory you have. All right, I'm taking a sniper, and I'm taking a kingmaker. That's all I need. No, I'm close. If I can just hit this perfect so I could see how it's rolling out. I've hit it great to the left and great to the right, and it responded weirdly on both of them because you don't know on this hole. But I'm doing a bunch of backspin and side spin, so if you hit great to the left or the right, the ball's going to respond quite a bit differently. You're going to end up in the same area, but I really think that the way that my opponent's going at it is probably the best way. Giving themselves 3 good rings. Let's see if they can get it in. That's what I'd like to hit on this so I can get some kind of read on my adjustment. Close. That was close. It was. Let's see if I can get a little closer. Okay, 3.8, 4.56 rings. Let's actually get lined up with the wind. There's 4, 5. Hitting it perfect. And I think I made a bad wind adjustment there. I think I slightly over pulled it. Not even close. I did something weird there. I think I've been putting more backspin on it and getting closer to it. The spot where I was out right there, I was trying to move it, and it was moving it the opposite direction of the direction I was moving the ball. If you've played this game for any length of time, you'll find holes like that where you're moving it to the left and you're trying to get it to go to the left, but the tail's waggling to the right. All right. This is never that hole right there. I will tell you, if you take the side that my opponent was on, you got a serious chance on it. I've had a storied pass with this hole, and this hole has ate my lunch enough times that I'm willing to go at it, but I want to make sure I always get a birdie and let's move on. There's other holes that I can try and pick shots up, and I don't want to lose one on that hole. Hole number 6. Everybody's got holes like that. I have courses in the real world I play where there are certain holes that, like, there are certain holes that I got, like, this is my type of hole, and then there are certain holes that are like, wow, this isn't. So I got to capitalize on the ones that play to my game. I'm trying to get out to here, but I don't think we can do it unless there's tailwind. So let's see what kind of wind we got. Yeah, we do have tailwind. So I'm going to take a power 3 ball. I'm going to take a Titan. And I think I actually overdrove it. And I don't know that I've actually taken the shot that I want to take. I'm going to take an Apocalypse because even though it doesn't have as much topspin, I just want to get out there so I can take the shot. Here we go. I'll be excited to get that Apocalypse up one more level so I can get the topspin. I'm not excited that I don't get any ball guide, but because there's a lot of times where the the Apocalypse is probably pound for pound would be the club to bring, but the extra mile, that ball guide that's on there is helpful. Okay, 4. About a ring and 2/3, or excuse me, 2 2/3 rings, and then I'm going to put the forward moving power back in. Hitting it perfect. Just trying to roll up there and get my Kingfisher range. Now my Kingfisher hits 1.1, 1.6, 2.2. That's how I'm playing it. And I'm doing -10 to the cup. Times whatever the wind is. All right, let's see if I can get an Albie right here. I'm going to get an Albie right here. See if my opponent can get over. They have to hit it longer and great to the left to clear the rough. They still got a great shot from right there. Oh, and I brought my Hornet. That's right, in this account I have a Hornet. So it's 3.42 rings. There's max. There's min, so I'm about mid club. Equals divided by 1.4. It's 2.44 rings. One backspin. .44 rings. There's 2.5. Oh, and I hit one ring great to the right. Arrgh. Woo! In the hole. That means I needed to pull out more wind. I didn't pull out enough. So instead of taking wind out, I should have been maybe adding wind. Or maybe just taking it straight up at 1.4. I will take it. If you can't be good, be lucky. Now this rough bump right here, and there is a rough bump that I could have taken from the other side. Actually, I was in the sand once and in the rough once, and both times I took rough bumps. You have a really good, but this side where my opponent's at, they probably have the best look at the rough bump. They got a nice wide area right there. That rough is really deep. So you can be 2 or 3 rings into it. Let's see if they got it right. Get in the hole. Get in the hole. Oh, close. Good game. Good luck in the tournament. All right, picking one up. Winning a chest. That's what I'm talking about. I'm working my way up through the ranks. Hole number 7. All right, what do we got here? Is this a par 3 or par 4? Oh, it's that dreaded duck hole. I'm going to see which way the wind's blowing. I have no idea. All right, we are getting a little bit of positive moving wind. This is so much better. Let me plug my device in before I run out of power. Hold on 1 second. All right, we got it fixed. The rock. I picked the wrong one. All right, what we got so far? If we finish out 1, 1, 2, that's 4. That's 15. All right, we need this hole, but I don't have the Power 5 ball collection to come at it, so I'm going to have to use a Power 3 ball, which means I'm going to have to work it. The idea would be not to use a lot of power. I'm gonna stick with a Titan, but I'll have to buy some. 9 of them. And I'm gonna use an APOC. Let me look at my notes here. I'm going to use like 2.5 topspin. And I landed dead center in the middle of the sand yesterday. In my 77 account, I made it because I had a Power 5 ball, and you can get to the perfect spot. All you got to do is hit perfect. You're there. I actually had a little bit too much topspin and rolled off the back, but I was still on the fairway. All right. Let's put on about 3 topspin because I'm not going to be Where I'd really like to be is right there. But I have to do max overpower for that. And I suppose I have to do max overpower. 3-5. It's a little over a ring and a half. Hit it one ring great to the right. If I clear the sand here, I might have a shot, but I'm going to hit the sand. Boom.
If he comes out.
Nope.
I'm just leave the door open. Oops.
Mwah. All right. Hole and none. I don't think I'm as in bad a shape in the sand as I was. I was way over here in the sand yesterday and the tree was in my way. I didn't actually have a really good shot at it. I was just kind of recovering. But if I have a clear shot at it, I got a pretty good club for this shot. Power 5 ball is definitely the way to go at it. Hitting it perfect is definitely the way to go at it. Boom. Right on the green. There you go. Nice shot. Nice shot. My man. That dog will hunt. Huh, Buster? Okay. Let's see if I can get my ball guide to flatten out. No. I was a little short. In my shot yesterday, but I had almost exactly the same wind. Hit it on the inside. As long as I don't clip the rough right here, I'll be all right. Not bad for birdie, but my opponent is going to get an eagle. That is the way to get it done. Good job. Crowd goes wild. See if they can get her in the hole. Good job. That dog is definitely a hunter. Nice. Huh, Buster? You're a hunting dog, aren't you? You like to chase the squirrels. I don't know what he'd do. He wouldn't know what he'd want to do if he caught one. Hole number 8. All right, we definitely have a shot at hole 1 here. And earlier, so let's see which way the wind's blowing, because I started off the week. Let's see if we get a tail. We got a tailwind here. So I started off, I did a plus 10%, and I was like right there. And it landed good. But I did that with some headwind, and I almost overpulled it. I shouldn't have did that. But I'm just wondering, I'm going to try just a straight up adjustment. The worst thing that can happen to me is I miss the rough. Arr. I'm going to take a navigator. Select. Off we roll. Need to win one more. Need to win right here. Need to get a hole in one right here. Right now. And I'm just going to do a straight up adjustment and see what happens. If we can get an opponent. If. Don't make me start singing. I'll do it, damn it. All right, I'll take a drink. Powerade 0 grape. Thank you, Travis, for joining the channel. Welcome. I go first. 3-5. I'm just gonna do 3-5. Isn't it perfect? Now let's watch real carefully. That was it had nice look. Just slightly over pulled it. And I was aiming right to the flagpole. I think my teammate Mike was talking about this hole earlier today and was like, he was aiming towards the left-hand edge of the cup. And he got it to go in. I did not. And I aimed at the flagpole. I'm going to write on my notes -5. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it once because I definitely overpulled it twice. One of them was really, really close. And one of them looked like it landed great, but in retrospect, in the hole. All right. We got a shot for Albie here on the last hole. Maybe I can redeem the round. Pop up above the coming into the back 9, thinking of each side, just trying to pick up as many as you can on a side. Putting the pressure on yourself for the back. All right. Let's go get an Albie right here. Right here. Now, I did this earlier this week. Let's see if I can do it again. Let's see which way the wind's blowing. All right. I'm just wondering the weekend round, are they going to give us... It would make the rounds tougher. People have to bring out... And you got to remember, Playdemic is a ball manufacturer, so that works for them. That's good. That's good business. I'm going to bring a Titan dressed up as a Kingmaker. Gives them a little more spin. Here we go. If I can get an opponent. Let's go out there and put the hurt on this hole. Now I did a -10 on it and I sank it, so I gotta try that. I also put a -10 on there and I hit it great to the right and I missed the rough. The deal is I need to get out a little bit farther than where I am. If I had a power 4 or a power 5 ball, I wouldn't have to do any overpower, but where I'm at with power 3 ball, if I want to get out further, I got to do overpower. So I haven't been doing this shot with overpower up to this point this week, but I want to get out farther so that I'm having to do the rough bump on the I, and I want to do it on the T. I want to have room to the left or the right. If I make a bad wind adjustment and I miss because I overpulled it or underpulled it, then that's my lookout. But if I hit it great to the left or the right, it doesn't work out as planned. I want to make sure that I have rough to the left and to the right. Let's see if my opponent can... Now I know on this hole, if you're hitting down into the hole, this first landing pad right here, it carries quite a bit down into that. I think it carries more than the wind, especially. So if you've got a big tailwind and or a headwind, it will carry. All right, 2. It's 1 ring. I'm going to put the forward distance back in it. Not a lot, but a little. one ring great to the left. And up there, I think I'm a little bit farther. I may be farther forward, but I think I'm a little bit further out than my opponent. We're right there. I've been having to come at it more where I'm on this part of the rough right here, and I want to get where I'm more in this part of the rough. I don't like the fact that I'd have to pull over the sand right there, but it doesn't look like it's distorting the rings. Anytime you got to put that much stuff on it, anytime you got to put curl on it, that curl, I don't know why you needed the curl. Now let's see if I got myself more. Okay, I'm at minimum club. So let's do the wind. 3.8 divided by 1.3. 2.63 rings. There's 2, 5, 6, 3. Isn't it perfect? Let's see if it hits the rough. Nice. Just a bit outside. And I'm not sure if that was it looked like it might have been a little bit short too. If it had actually been on trajectory, it would have been really close, but I think it would have been short. And I'm not so sure that it was any like wind or stuff, but like the angle that I'm coming in at the cup, going that slow, it might have just been drifting off. All right, we're still working on it, but I'm feeling good about my wind adjustment. I can work on the spin stuff as long as I'm actually hitting the rough. And I definitely like that area there better than 6 feet over to the right. It's a draw. All right. A 15, okay, so I have no idea what the scores are at the top, but in my mind, this is the way that this tournament is minus 12 is always the minimum. We've got hole number 1 we got to pick up. That's minus 13. We have to pick up. We have to. These par 4s are the 2 par 4s, even though they're tricky, they're makeable, and there's enough other shots on here that we have to pick up 2 on a side. So that means we have to be at minus 15 as our minimum score before we can even start talking about. Like if you can shoot the minus 15, then it's just trying to pick up 1 extra shot somewhere to get you above that number. And I've seen some monster scores in my qualifying bracket. I think minus 18 was the high score. So at 15. And we'll go up and do a preview. We'll go up to the top 10 and see where the top 10 stops. Like if we want to make the top 10, we've got to shoot better than a 29. So we're right on track with what I'm talking about. My anticipation is that as we go up the scale here, look, the top 10's dominated by 30s, that there's going to be 3 people at the top that are going to have better than a 30. A 33 and a 33 and a 34. Look at that. Look at that. Those are good rounds. So this is just like the last tournament. 30 gets you into the point where if you can break 30, now you're starting to talk about banner. And depending on the bracket you're in, you could get lucky. But shooting a 15, that's why you have to pick up every hole. Every hole's got to be something that you can pick up. And I have one hole that I'm not that good at, that par 3. Or I'm not, I could be good at it, but I choose not to be. Thanks for watching. Have a good time in the tournament, and hopefully Area has a great week. Gets all their accounts in, and I will catch you on the next one.